So I want to make a bit of a video here to talk about the way in which Quakers have something to say around gender, trans issues, the ways in which sex realist viewpoints are heard within our society, both within religious society of friends in Britain today, but also more widely in society. And I suppose I'm trying to make the point here that I think we do have something unique and of value to offer the world. But first of all, we've got to do it within our own community. And at the moment, I don't think we quite are moving forward with this across the whole country. So perhaps, there's 100 or so people watching this channel. So maybe this is just part of um, the way in which we can gently nudge this process forward of listening to each other and discerning different viewpoints, different things that we value. So I want to just remind you, if you're not already aware, where Quakers in Britain have already slowly, we know these things take time, so they've slowly produced three documents. And if you're not familiar with this, then I'll tell you what these three documents are. So first of all, back in 2018, around the time of the gender recognition bill and that kind of coming in, and all of this kind of consultation around it. What happened was Quaker Life Central Committee considered it and wondered and discerned whether we could write something that would help our society understand where we're at. So they produced a statement called the initial statement. Um, and I suppose I should declare that I was involved in that at the time. I was clerk of Quaker Life Central Committee at the time back in 2018. So that document went out, and it was as part of a process. There was a huge amount of a kind of a consultation where we asked people to write in. Um, and I think it's fair to say that all of those pieces that were written from a very heartfelt place about the impact that this had on their lives. A small group of us read those and were very touched by everything that was said. But we didn't know quite what to do with it next, where to go next. I then left the committee, and I can't speak for what happened after that. But clearly, that part of the process of 2018, there was no real sense of how to take that process forward. Now, what you'll also then know is in 2021, it came to the yearly meeting, and the presumably the yearly meeting agenda committee put this together, and the outcome of that was minute 31. So minute 31 of BYM 2021 was all about that kind of we acknowledge and affirm um, gender diverse and trans and non-binary friends, however it was worded. Um, and of course, in that minute, it makes the point, firstly, that all Quaker meetings welcome anybody of any kind of gender expression, and that has always been the case. And it was explicitly said in that minute. Then the second part of that minute goes on to say that we promise to kind of go on learning about this and go on listening to each other. And again, it's not always been clear to see how that listening is happening in a supportive way, because these are very, very emotional issues and topics which have a real impact on people's lives. And I do believe that everyone who's writing about this and talking about this is acting from a real place of love and good faith. And sometimes, the pain of it and the emotions of it do seem to go awry a little bit. Now, the thing that you then want to perhaps know about, and I don't know if you do, is that in 2024, a long process culminated in an epistle. Now, this long process was hosted by London Quakers, and two friends, Yvonne and Janet, took hold of this process and managed a process of consultation. And they had a half a dozen or so meetings where a variety of people with a variety of Quakers with sex realist perspectives that human beings can't change sex, and also trans and non-binary friends were there as well, talking about the impact of this on their lives and um, what it means to them. So you can imagine what kind of challenging um, conversations and listening that they held within that space. What they then agreed was to write an epistle. So this is the term that Quakers have used historically. It just means letter, doesn't it? So it's a letter from the group to the world, if you like. And that epistle has been out since I think February 2024. So it's really not new. But again, there's that kind of hanging in the air, like what's going on with this? Where do we go from here? What is the process now? So although we've been aware of that document, I'm not sure if it's changed at all since then. I suppose it can't have been really. And I think that process is now disbanded and finished. So where are we then? We know that it's not going anywhere formally, as far as I can tell. It's not being acted upon by Quaker Life Central Committee or as far as I know, yearly meeting agenda committee. I'm not hearing anything about that. So it seems to me that this is now a place for area meetings and local Quaker communities to really deeply consider this document. Now, I have read the document a number of times, but it's so detailed that it does mean that we need to consider it and study it really very carefully and perhaps in groups. It's got about 37 items on it where it sets out the position of different participants in that process. So it's quite a challenging thing to read, whatever position you come from. Hopefully everybody thinks that there's something in there that represents their position in a compassionate and straightforward way. And also, there's going to be expressions in there which is not of your viewpoint. And so this is a careful discernment process that needs to take place. So I suppose the reason why I'm making these videos now is to remind everyone that it is only us that can take this forward. You know, we talk about there being a toxic debate. Well, let's not have a toxic debate then. Let's use the wonderful business method that we have within Quakers, that the communities that we already know each other and we can be together in a loving, supportive way to tackle difficult issues. So let's do it, let's sit together with these issues. Um, I want to say again, the courage and the clarity that Yvonne and Janet have brought to this really is valuable, and I really appreciate what they have done here, holding together and listening to a wide variety of viewpoints. It is an immense service. So thank you again to them for producing this document. So let's not let this moment pass. Let's not waste this document. Let's use it. And as we head into winter here in Britain, maybe this is something we can see across area meetings, that we can use this document and perhaps plan some kind of um, careful study, prayerful consideration of this document and to see where we can find new ground. Maybe we can challenge people to, maybe you could stop using that word, friend. Maybe you could stop using this term, friend. And maybe we can move forward and role model how it's possible to have a caring conversation around this, because we do have our business method, we are spiritually grounded, we do have ways and processes and means of holding these spaces. And I think it's not just about taking our own individual discernment forward. And it's not just even about the Religious Society of Friends in Britain. I think it is actually a contribution we can make to wider society, which is still grappling with these issues. And as I have repeatedly said, I think that term of no debate around this has really not helped. And we've ended up with a difficult conversation as a result of that. So I hope this is a way forward. And I'm going to, in the link in the description underneath this video, I'm going to remind you of the names of those documents so that you can search for them yourself, and maybe I can find some links to put into those three so you can track the process yourself of where we have been, where we have come to, and you might be led to consider this for yourself. Maybe you could prayerfully consider and discern whether you might approach your area meeting, your Quaker community, and say, have you seen this document? Shall we consider it together? Shall we make sure that we have a process in place that everybody feels heard? And let's see what happens next. There's no rush, is there? Um, so I hope you find that helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you as to whether this is actually you know, something that we can do together.